back, everybody, to another episode of V-Time, episode 103. We skipped last week because there was nothing actually to cover decent. And we're back this week.
With a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff, yes. We got some finishing cards for the booster set 1 of Overdress. Finally done and finished with. And then we got more cards to talk about from Festival Collection that got leaked, especially. And Token Ramu.
And Monster Strike.
And not yet, but yes. But before that, if you're interested in buying any cards from TCG Player, please use our affiliate link down below.
Your purchases through this link help support the channel so we can bring more great videos like this straight to you guys.
And with that scripted part already, let's go straight into leaks, finishing off Booster Set 1. Now, I'm not going to mention all of them by name. We got these 5 cards from every single nation has them, and they're all the same effect. When this unit boosts, this unit gets 2k until the end of the turn. Simple, straightforward. Honestly, good cards.
I mean, they're pretty decent.
It's a 10k booster, which means it passes a trigger, and it makes your opponent guard with at least a 15k shield instead of a 5, and so forth and so on. Stop yawning. Wake up, don't make me smack you.
This is 11 in the morning. Or afternoon.
Good, sir.
You know,
sleep is for the week. Anyway, to the proper leaks, and an actually good card for Orphist.
Yeah, I underestimated this card so bad.
Electro Thief Mutant Javatel, yeah. Simple grade 3. I don't know why it has a Persona Ride icon. You're never gonna ride it. Continuous rear guard. If your world is Abyssal Dark Knight, when this unit would attack, it attacks all of your opponent's units in one column. As is good. This is just literally saying, I'm either going to hit what's behind your Vanguard that's annoying, or I'm going to just get rid of a column and minus you.
Yeah.
Why'd you learn the hard way?
Because Magnolia hates this card.
Oh, look, you put Care Bear behind the Vanguard. Guess who's getting attacked? Oh, look, there's a column that's of key units. You'd be ashamed if you lost them.
And normally it's like, oh, well, it's just a 13k. Yeah, it's a 13k, but it's also being boosted by 15k shadow tokens.
Yup, more than likely. Hey, the next leak. Some cater support that probably would never be ran.
Yeah, probably never be ran. It's a Remission Sword Fumel. Auto rearguard when this unit attacks. If you have 3 or more grade 3 units, cost counter blast 2, and this unit gets critical +1 to the end of battle.
I mean, the critical is nice, but unless you're putting a lot of power on it some way, shape, or form, it's not going to matter.
If it was until the end of turn, I'd say maybe.
Oh, it's battle? Oh, that makes it worse.
Yeah, it's battle. It's just like, you're wasting 2 CB for just 1 attack. And then if you restand it, you have to do it again to get... no.
It's not that good. Unless you put an overtrigger on it, it's not that good.
No.
Moving on. Cater Sentry saw another grade 3 order. This time in the form of a blitz order, and it's reminiscent of what we've been seeing except in Brentgate. We got Hopeful Tested. If you have 3 or more units, choose one of your units and it gets 15k until the end of battle. It's a simple 15k blitz order, which being a grade 3 means Sebastian's fucking loving this shit. Anyway, moving on, we got a grade 3 for Stoicheia.
Yep, Nobleman of Wisdom Edgar. Auto rearguard when this unit attacks, cost counterblast 1, and this unit gets power +5 until the end of turn.
So it's basically the start deck Cater Sanctuary card.
It's probably never going to be ran.
Probably never going to be ran. Your CB's more valuable than for this card. Anyway, that actually wrapped up Booster Set 1 for the most part. Like, we saw all the SPs, and we're not going to mention all the SPs because there's a lot of SPs, so if you want to bling out your deck, you can. But that concludes Booster Set 1. Yep. We can start Festival Collection. Oh boy, I'll let you go first because yes, you go first because then I hit my nations.
Cool. All right, so we'll start off with Dragon Empire. Rough Eating Dragon Hungersaurus. Continuous rearguard during your turn. If this unit gets power +5, 5,000, and if your opponent's if your opponent has a front row rearguard, this unit cannot attack a Vanguard.
Sorry for the speed. Honestly, it's a decent card, but not for Overdress, more for Eugene, if anything.
Because you want your opponent to have no front or rear guards, and Eugene's going to be popping them.
If you build it properly.
If you build it properly. So, but I mean, he's basically
Hold up. There I am.
Oh, like.
If you couldn't hear me, sorry.
But basically, he's just a dumbed down version of the Gray 3 that you're gonna run in the deck that does the same exact thing.
You're not wrong, but it's decent. Like a disclaimer, all the festival collection, and we saw at least one wave for every nation so far this week. All of them are going to be one really good card that it doesn't change the deck, but it's definitely a possibility to be ran in a deck. And then another card that's like, well, you exist, but I don't think someone's going to run you. This is the card that you exist. The other card is the card that you're probably going to be running. And all of these are mostly for the start decks. Like, the archetypes can run it, but it's like,
Blaze Maiden Mirren. Auto rearguard when your unit with the overdress ability attacks cost. Put this unit into your soul. Choose one of your units with the overdress ability, and it gets power +5 until the end of turn.
That's just good.
Yeah. It fills your soul, gives you power, and you can boost with it. And then later, if another unit attacks, just put it in the soul, give it power.
Like, it's not super broken amazing to where it changes the complete deck and how it wants to play, but it's an amazing support card. Why wouldn't you run in a deck to kind of bump some of your numbers? Like, I can see people not running it, but I can also see people very much so running it.
Yeah, it has its uses.
Like, it's going to be a trend for all these nations. As we go into the Dark State Nation and look at Diabolos Boy Jared. It's a great 2, which is nice. Act, rearguard, once per turn, cost Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your units with Diabolos in its card name, and it gets 10k until the end of turn. Its other ability is auto rearguard when this unit attacks. If you are in Final Rush, your opponent cannot intercept until the end of battle. The whole intercept in Final Rush is here or there, like, more than likely it's not going to be important. The first ability is what makes the fucking difference.
Yeah.
Like, Counterblast is not hard. You have all the Counterblasts you want in boost. Like, you're not using any of your CB that much. Soul Blast is kind of a weird spot, but if you can manage your soul properly with resources, you're fine to use it. And then giving something 10k, it can be itself, if it can be Bruce, or it can be Eden, the one that gains 2 crit on the second attack, making it very dangerous.
And in Bruce, this translates to basically give a unit +20 because it's going to restand with Bruce, so it's going to restand with that 10k also.
So this overall is an amazing card, like, and it's gonna be random Bruce. Like, I can see people not run it, and I can see people hella run it. And then you get to the other Dark States card that's it exists, it's an option. Probably not.
It's probably never gonna be ran.
Nope. Degraded Age Dragon. It's a grade 1 auto when this unit is placed on rearguard. If your soul has 5 or more cards, discard a card from your hand, choose one of your opponent's back row rearguards, and retire it. So in a sense, it's ditch 2 from hand to kill something.
Yeah.
And you have to have Ice Soul. So in Bruce, it's probably not going to happen as often as in Barrier Magnus, and Barrier Magnus already struggles with hand.
Yeah.
So it exists. It's
maybe something down the road with another ride line.
Maybe, but I don't see it. It's weird, all right? It's hella weird. I feel like we should cover the rest of them and then come back to Sword Boys. So yeah, we're going to cover the nations first, and I'm going to just steal this one again.
Go ahead.
We're going to go to Brain Gate. Again, the card that's probably going to be ran, and I can understand people not running it, but I can also understand very much so people running it. Aurora Bell Princess Spark Lemon. Not lemon, but lemon. Whatever. Auto. Rearguard. When this unit attack hits, choose up to 2 units cards from your opponent's drop zone and imprison them in your prison. Unit cards.
Yeah. We could talk about earlier. That helps a little bit.
Yeah. Can't hit those orders.
Oh, thank God.
Okay. Small rant. Because I promised Eric.
Oh, boy.
My opinion. This card is actually really good. There was a debate between us and maybe in the community, I don't know, but mostly between us and the mentality of imprisoning from drop is actually bad because you're giving your opponent free real estate. Like, yes, you're meeting your conditions to imprison if any effect were to imprison from drop, but then you're giving your opponent, free cards to just call out of drop zone and utilize without actually having to use hand. This card fixes that problem by, yes, imprisoning from drop. The things that fixes, though, is the fact that you get to choose. So you can choose stuff like triggers or useless cards that your opponent doesn't want out of drop. And it's behind an on hit, which means it really pressures your opponent to I don't want this to hit, to let them grab my triggers or stuff for my drop to get to the number. So I have to guard it, which means they're wasting cards out of hand. On the upside, if the drop zone, especially in the early game, is set up like, these are some nice units in the drop. If that thing hits, he'll imprison them, and then I can pay the cost and call them out. At that point, it's like, basically, your opponent's like, I need to take this, or I want to take this. So you're basically getting a free damage. So I feel like it's a win-win. I feel like this card is basically a win-win. It's either gonna hit and imprison something, get you to the number, or it's not gonna hit and it's gonna waste cards from your opponent's hand. On top of that, after playtesting it today at locals, apparently everybody hates it, so it's gonna target it, so you're gonna get, free swings out of your opponents and not take damage. I mean, I'm not wrong. Even when I played against it, when Long was probably in prison, I'm like, there's 2 of it on the board, kill them.
Like, I understand the other end of the spectrum about this. It's like, okay, cool, well, you put nothing but really, really good unit cards in your drop zone. And it's like, well, they have nothing but to choose the normal good units, and then they can just bring them back to the board. But at the same time, you're getting to choose what you take from their drop.
Exactly, and they're still getting hit. It's still a damage up.
This I'm not going to say is really good early game or late game. It's really good mid game. Because at this point, there's enough cards. There's enough cards in a drop zone for you to have options, and there's also enough times where it's like they need a damage, so they're going to take a hit somewhere, and they're not going to take a Vanguard swing, basically.
Early game, it's easily guardable. Plus, there's not many cards to choose from, which means if your opponent kind of ditches cards that he didn't want to ditch, and then it's like, okay, cool. And then late game, like you said, like they're 5 damage, they're probably not getting. So yeah, I will completely agree. Mid game, if you can make her dangerous with triggers or boosters, whatever, she's gonna be dangerous.
And like, if you're taking their triggers, your opponent has to be very desperate to be taking triggers out of their order zone to put them on your board.
Yeah, or wanting to prevent you from getting to, because if this hits and takes 2 triggers, I am 1 prison away from all my conditions.
Yeah, but I'm saying that is like they're less likely to pull triggers out because they're not going to just want to see triggers on their board. They're going to want
unless you're stuck. Okay, I'm gonna.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna Cannibalist 1, get the 2 triggers out, and then I'm gonna use the order, kill the triggers, put the order to soul, counter charge 1, and draw a card.
That's like the one exception. But most of the time, most decks are gonna be like, I don't want a back row of triggers. I want a back row of something that's actually gonna do something.
Yeah, wrong.
Or a front row. So they're less likely to pull the triggers out unless they're desperate.
So overall, we agree this card is actually good.
Yes.
There you go. And then the other card that's kind of exists. Twin Press Smasher. Act, rearguard, cost, Cannibalist 1, rest this unit, and so once per turn, choose one of your opponent's front row rearguards and retire it. I really don't see the point of this card. I mean, retiring is nice and all, but Brightgate really doesn't need it. Prison's gonna just imprison, and Orpheus has to retire, I guess, but you want your tokens on the board, not this, especially rested. Like, it's a card that exists, but is it gonna be used? Who knows? This is the only owner.
Oh yeah. So Keter, finally got to see the grade 3 Heart Bow of Heavenly Music Alphon. Act rearguard once per turn. If you have 3 or more grade 3 units, cost counterblast 1. This unit gets power plus 5 until the end of turn. And if you've Persona Road this turn, you draw a card. I feel like this is the same thing as the triple rare from the set. True, you're only drawing 1 card. You're not plussing to the board, but you're getting the same amount back to hand.
Yeah.
But
I mean, look at it this way. Counterblast 1 to 5k and draw a card, right? Counterblast 2 and Soul Blast 1 to draw 2 cards and put a card on the board. So overall, your hand's the same, but for Counterblast and Soul Blast, you at least put a unit on the board.
Yes. But if you don't see him, he is a great other option, especially late game.
CB though. Be careful with your CB.
I mean, you do have a good counter charger though.
Cater?
Yeah, on hit, counter charge, soul charge.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's on hit though, so you either gotta swing with it first and hope it get a grade 3, and then which most likely you will, but swing with it twice. But yeah, overall it is a decent counter. You honestly, after seeing Connor play it today, honestly, the grade 3 that's on hit, use it to kill some rear guards.
Yeah.
Because it's like your opponent's going to feel bad about guarding rearguards to prevent you from, getting resources. And you're still, if they guard the rearguards, you're still going to get cards out of their hand as though you would attack the Vanguard. And if they let them die, you're getting the resources. So it's kind of a win-win.
Yeah.
It's not actually a bad strategy. Good for a first attack.
Yeah. And that, like this, when you're Persona Ride, just like, cool, well, I'm going to draw from the Persona Ride, I'm going to draw from this, I'm going to keep building my hand back for nothing.
You're not wrong. And then the card that kind of exists, but right now is not runnable.
I'll let you cover this because I'm going to cover all the last two.
All right, we got Goldigon. I think I found out right. Auto, when this unit is placed on rearguard, Soul Blast 1, call a grade 1 from your hand to rearguard, and the unit called for this cause gets 5k until the end of turn. So it doesn't replace anything from hand. It costs a soul, which is already hard in both Gator Century decks. And what deck other than the Hex Orb runs any grade 1s, period?
I mean,
plus the grade 1s that you call in Hex Orb, do you really want to call them? And have them, like, one card in Hex Orb has to get rested and Soul Blast to, look at top cards. The other is Soul Blast to replace itself. The other is Soul Blast 2 to counter chart. Why would you call grade 1s with a Soul Blast?
I'm calling it now. This is for future proofing.
All of these cards look like they're future proofing.
I know. I'm saying, like, this unit doesn't say it's placed from hand. It just says when it's placed on rear guard. So I'm assuming that we're going to get a ride line down the road, acts more like Gold Paladin and call things off the top of your deck.
You mean like you reveal 2 cards from your hand, 2 grade 3s from your hand, look at the top card and call it?
Yeah, but I'm talking about like an entire ride line based on doing that. But I can see like an attack that says look at the call the top card of your deck or call it like that, and then you'll trigger this, and then it'll trigger a card from your hand and get more attacks in.
I agree with you, but at the same time, I really don't get the card. Like, if anybody runs this card right now before we get boosters at 2 or anything, I'm honestly gonna question them.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
Fun stuff. They got leaked literally 30 minutes ago.
Yes, the last of the leaks. Stoicheia. So, first we're getting grade 3 Hydro Rail Dragon. Auto rearguard when this unit attack hits a Vanguard. Retire this unit, choose a grade 3 unit card from your drop zone and add it to your hand.
No.
Yes. So, Dragon Empire is not the only one that can get Persona Ride searching.
No, it is not.
So now this is amazing, Magnolia. You want a Persona Ride, this gives you your Persona Ride. There's nothing else to say about it.
It is behind it on hit, so it can be prevented. If you Care Bear it, though, it's kind of be hard to prevent it.
Yeah.
If you Care Bear something else, it's honestly gonna be weird because it's like, oh, I have to take that, so I can guard this. Or usually, my mentality around Care Bear, the Care Bear unit, let's say like that, not Care Bear himself, the Care Bear unit, is the fact that I'm taking the smaller, or I'm guarding the smaller perks, and I'm taking the Care Bear unit because it's big and I don't want to waste too much shield. So if this is the Care Bear unit, fuck.
You're not wrong. But yeah, it's...
Hey, it can fetch itself if you don't have Magnolia.
You're not wrong. But I think it's great because it's so generic and can fit in any Stoicheia deck.
Yeah, this can also fit in Zorga.
Yeah. Yeah, all the...
It's again one of those cards like, I can see people not running it, but those to do, I completely agree. And then the other card it exists. It's kind of decent, but at the same time, it's like, eh.
So I think this one's supposed to be the one that's supposed to go for Magnolia because it's a Sylvan Horn Beast Cruci.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like the other card's better. And the other cards for the other nations were not.
Before I read the effect, I wanted to examine the card. There is no shield, and this is a 15k grade 1 with boost. It's also because its effect is continuous. It cannot be ridden, and it can only be called to the back row center.
You know what this is? This is a wannabe shadow token.
This is a wannabe shadow token.
This is a wannabe shadow token. Shadow army token.
I mean, in Magnolia, this is the only time you're going to really use this card so far. But it's always going to be a 15k booster, and then if you Magnolia to get attack from the back row, it becomes a 20, unless you give it some kind of boost.
Exactly. 20 is not enough.
Yeah, I mean, in the early game, if your opponent's a grade 2, I can understand. But most of the time, it's just you're a 15k booster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And you can only be behind the Vanguard, so you're probably only going to like 1 or 2 of it at most.
You thought we were done. You thought this was done with the leaks. You were wrong. There's some Sword Boys to cover.
Yep.
Actually, before Sword Boys, there's some promos to cover for V-Series.
Oh, yes. Because in case some of you actually still do play it.
Yeah. Hey, we might sooner or later.
Maybe.
We're not playing with these cards, though. We got an Aquaforce card. The name escapes us. It is Auto Rearguard. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked a Vanguard. If it's the first battle of the turn, counterblast 1. Put this on the bottom of your deck. Look at top 3 cards. Look at top 3 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1, call it to an additional Rearguard, and put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Honestly, it's not a bad card. Like, on the first attack...
I mean, your places itself.
I mean, yeah, counterblast 1, put this card on the bottom of your deck. So basically, you put it on an Excel circle, you swing for 14, you counterblast 1, put it at the bottom, look at top 3, and get something, you know, and put it back on the Excel circle, so you're basically multi-attacking already.
Yeah.
I feel like there's other cards in Aquaforce that want to be first wave and or do better stuff, but it's not a bad option. It's honestly not a bad card.
I don't know where it fits in V-Series, but it's not bad.
No, I was going to say Valios, but he doesn't make an Excel, so... any Aquaforce deck, it's just generic enough for any Aquaforce deck.
Yeah. Next up, you got a Mega Colony card, which also escapes her name. Auto, when this unit is placed on Vanguard or Rearguard, cost Counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's Rearguards without any Cradle markers on it and put a Cradle marker on it. If you did not choose, draw a card. And then continuous Vanguard Rearguard, during your turn, all of your opponents, if your opponent has Rearguards with Cradle markers on it, this unit gets power +6. That's
a good card, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, it does what the Cradle markers want to do, and if you can, you benefit, which means it awards a full-on Gradora deck that just does Cradle. Because you're just going to Cradle your opponent, and then, hey, look, I can't Cradle him. Kind of best friend draw a card.
I mean, you're basically plussing in some form or fashion. You either Cradle something, and that's going to plus you a card, or it's going to draw you a card if you can't.
I love how we still remember V-Series cards. Anyway, moving on. I want to just double check something because I feel like there should be a starter here somewhere and it isn't. All right, so we're going into Sword Boys. There's definitely a starter in here somewhere, which for some reason we're not seeing in our little page here.
There.
Oh, there it is. So we got, start us off, of course, the starter for Token Rambu, properly, not Sword Boys. And we're going to probably butcher all these names.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce them. I'm just going to say the grade.
Fuck it. I'll just do the pronouncing then. Kashu Kiyomizu. It's a grade 0, of course, and it has the normal ability when this unit is wrote upon. If you win second, draw a card.
Pretty standard.
Exactly. You know what? Fuck it. You're not reading these.
Okay.
I don't need you butchering any names.
Go ahead.
Just give me and ahs, all right? All right. Let's look at the ride line, because we only seen the ride line and one extra card that apparently works with the ride line. So first off, we got the grade 1. Kashu Kiyomizu Sento. It's a grade 1, of course, and it has the ability auto when this unit is rolled upon by Kashu Kiyomizu Toku, which is a grade 1, grade 2, sorry. Look at the top card of your deck and put the card on the top of your deck or into your soul. And then its other ability is continuous trigger during your turn. This unit gets 2k, making a 10k booster or attacker, which is honestly not bad. The whole look at the top card and put it on top or your soul is interesting. So you can either leave a trigger on top or soul charge something, which means this deck might be using its soul some decently amount.
Maybe.
We can't really say off that. So let's look at the grade 2. Kashu Kiyomizu Toku. Auto, when this unit is rolled upon by Kashu Kiyomizu Kiwame, search your deck for up to 1 Yamato no Kami Yasusada, reel it and add it to your hand and shuffle your deck. Damn, these names. Yeah, you were butchered.
No. I told you, I'm not even going to attempt it.
So basically, when it's rolled upon by a grade 3, search for a specific card, which we're going to cover, and add it to your hand. And shuffle your deck. And then its other ability is during your turn, this unit gets 2k, making a 12k attacker, which means it's shit. I am sorry, my opinion of 12ks, that on regular 12ks, is still the same. They are shit. They are pointless. You should not run them. This card should only stay in your ride line. I rest my case.
Philip 2022.
Anyway, the grade 2 that searches the grade 2, the grade 2 ride line searches. We got Yamato no Kami Yasusada.
Card of searches.
Correct. Act rearguard cost counterblast 1, and this unit gets 5k until the end of turn. If your Vanguard is Kashu Kiyomizu Kiwame, which is the grade 3 we're going to cover, 10k instead of 5. Honestly, I'm quoting Eric here. Counterblast for power is usually not good, But in this instance, it's actually really good. Because honestly, 10k power is always good, which means put a 8k booster, or in this case, if you put the grade 1 behind it, a 10k booster, you're hitting 30k well for 1 CB, which is honestly good numbers. But you're most likely hitting even more because of the grade 3. And here's the reason why. We got Kashu Kiyomizu Kiwame. Of course, it has the Persona Ride outcome, duh. And then continues, Vanguard during your turn. If you do not have any face-up cards in your damage zone, this unit gets 10k. Its other ability is Act. Vanguard once per turn costs Cannabis 1, Soul Blast 1, look at the top card of your deck, put it on top or bottom of your deck, and draw a card. Honestly, that's not impressive.
Nah.
Like,
It's pretty
it's
generic.
an alt mile with 10k. Instead of giving 10k to your rigor, it just gives itself 10k. So it's understandable why the grade 2 you search has a Cannabis cause that gives it power, which means, you know, you're always going to have no face-up CB, which means this is always going to have 10k. The act ability is weird, in my opinion, because you're Cannabis 1, Soul Blasting 1 to look at the top card, and then either put it on top to draw it, or put it on bottom to draw something random.
It's gonna feel bad when you look at the top and there's an over trigger there and you draw it.
Or you have to put it on the bottom.
Yeah.
Granted, if they introduce any cards that can shuffle the deck after you hit your grade 3 ride, I can kind of see it. You can kind of put the overtrigger on the bottom, do the other effects, shuffle your deck, and you're fine. But if there is no shuffle effects after grade 3, and you do see the overtrigger off this ability, it is a big sad.
The mix set.
Anyway, overall, like, not a bad ride line for Token Rambu. We need to see the rest of the cards, which have been leaked nicely in all its foil glory. But outside of that, like next Tuesday, oh yeah, I can actually say that because that's the last of the leaks, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, that's the last of the leaks. So let me just find it real quick. All right, so next stream will feature another Token Rambu ride line, as well as introduce the gimmick of Gacha Redraw from the Monster set. Now, if you're asking yourself what that means, well, apparently next to the Token Rambu SPs, we're getting Monster what now?
Monster Strike.
Monster Strike sets. It's a special collaboration because apparently Monster Strike is very popular in Japan. I don't know if we're gonna get them in English or not, but you know, we're getting these sets. And they also leaked this nice picture of the new gimmick for Monster Strike series. The set order Jesus Christ, this name. Gacha Redraw. You'll be able to pull the gacha in Vanguard too. You might even get to pull a 10x gacha. I have no idea what this means. Nobody knows, but apparently the Monster Strike set will be a set order type of build, which will be interesting. I'm more excited about all the other cards that we're going to see. The more Token Rambu and another Token Rambu ride line at that. So that's going to be interesting. We're going to try to test it out next week. Even though it's going to be mostly vanilla.
I mean, we'll have 2 red lines, 2 different decks to test. So.
Yeah, not wrong. Well, we'll see.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, the ride line for Token Rambu right now is very kind of lackluster.
I mean, it's a start deck or trial deck, whatever.
I think it's the trial deck. Yeah, it's the DDT, TTD DO1.
So this is technically the first trial deck.
Correct. I don't know what the TT stands for, but sure. Anyway, they also leaked the full set for the trial deck. Here it is. Here's the ratio. We see 4 of each of the ride lines and the grade 0 starter. They're apparently going to get 3 extra grade 3s. And then apparently 3 different grade 2s, 2, 4, 3. Of course, they're going to get a PG? Do you see the PG? I don't see the Sentinel. Maybe it is here, but I'm not reading it properly. I'm pretty sure this 4 of is a Sentinel.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, and then 2 more grade 1s, and of course, they're gonna get their own overtrigger, which we see at the bottom. If that's the vanilla for some fucking reason, then it's the vanilla. But if it's a new overtrigger, it's a new overtrigger. I honestly, actually no, it's Kiyomizu Shinken Hisatsu. It's an overtrigger, yeah. So they're getting their own overtrigger.
Yep.
Nifty. Anyway, that's I think been most of the leaks.
Yep.
Yeah, that's been most of the leaks. So yeah, if you're interested in any cards that we just mentioned, go check out Triple Sleeve TCG.
They got great deals on cases, singles, and clan splits, so go check out the website.
Link in the description. That's where we're going to get our booster set whenever we do booster set 1.
Yep.
I think for the most part, that's been it. There hasn't been really much news in the Vanguard community. Just, Monster Strike collab, Token Rambu, this, Booster Set 1 dropping some tournament results and being interesting. It seems that Bastion and Magnolia and Zorga are kind of being on top. Hexorb sometimes appearing and all other stuff, but I feel like the Japanese side and the English side are always going to be different. So until we get it in English and see those results, we don't really know. But I can completely agree. Bastion is strong. Really strong.
Can I just talk about the Monster Strike art though?
Yeah.
Man, that's so nice. A part of me wants to hope this comes to English just because I want to pick it up for the art.
Well, no confirmation yet, but we can hope. The only reason I can see them not introducing this in English is because until now, I never heard of Monster Strike.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's very popular in Japan, but over here in the West Side, America and Europe, I don't think many people play it. So it'd lose its on it. If it introduced a nice gimmick, then sure. Like if it was an actual good deck that can compete with all the other ones, which it could be, I'd say yes, please give it to us, because why not? Like Bang Drink was an interesting gimmick, but other than one deck, the other ones really didn't do much.
Yeah.
But now with the directions change, hey, maybe something will happen out of this.
Maybe.
I'm actually very interested to see this gacha gimmick that's going to do. Like, how the fuck is that going to work?
We'll find out Tuesday.
Ah, yeah. Outside of that, that's been it.
Yep.
I think we're going to just end it there. All right. That's been episode 103 after 2 weeks, because the previous week was nothing but SP, so we didn't really have much to cover.
Yeah.
I am kind of excited to see what they're going to do on the Sunday League, because we've seen the main cover cards of Festival Collection, and we've seen there's only 10 new cards, right?
Yeah,
so that's it?
Yeah, that's it.
So what's next?
Token Rambu.
Huh? That'd be interesting for a while. Give us Booster Set 2. I want to start seeing Booster Set 2 leaks. I want to see what it's in store.
Oh,
yeah. I think we're going to finish it there, unless you want to add something.
I don't have anything else to add.
Episode 103.
Yep.
Thank you everybody so much for watching. If you like the video, please leave a like, share with your friends. Comment down below what you think they're going to do for next week. If there's more Token Rambu, or they're going to start leaking Booster Set 2. Other than that, if you like what we do here, please subscribe to our channel and ring that bell to get notified. Or else follow us on Facebook. Join our Discord and come watch us on Twitch. But with that, I've been Philip.
This is Alex.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Goodbye.
Woo! I really don't know why I started turning into an announcer voice there at the end. Like, hey, everybody, so much for watching. If you're enjoying this.
And bye.